and gentlemen, please give it up for Hillary and that fine rendition of What a Wonderful World. Now, please open your ears. We have a very special guest coming up next. Something a little bit different, but I think you'll all really, really enjoy. Please give it up for Spimpany.
All right, let's give it up again for the Back in Black Symphonies. And all right, welcome everyone. Really excited to bring back Underground. It's Dush and Tara are going to tell you a little bit about some of the differences, and you guys can probably see a couple of the differences already. We're going to keep it more intimate and make it really about connections and letting you guys share some of the insights that you have at the tables and with the speakers and have a better connection with each other. So when I started Underground, God, it's been a long time ago, it went on for 10 years, and I started literally at a bar. Not quite as old as this bar, but it was literally at a bar, and one of my friends was talking to me, and he's like, I just got back from this internet marketing conference, and it's just a pitch fest, and it's all these people who, all they were doing was selling how they make money online. That's how they made their money online. He's like, a lot of people. Why don't you put on something? I'm like, okay. Yeah, that sounds good. And literally on the back of a Delta boarding stub, I wrote down the names of people that I thought would be good for it. And that was Underground 1. And actually, Underground 1 was not that much bigger than this right here. And then it turned into something that Forbes called a top 10 event for entrepreneurs, entrepreneurial event for them to go to. And we had quite an amazing run. And the whole idea was bring in people who are actually doing it and who, were not just selling how to make money online. And so you'll see some people that I've known for a long time and some people I've just got introduced to, and it's really exciting. So when I retired Underground, I really didn't know if I was ever going to bring it back. It wasn't like this fake thing to be like, okay, it's a farewell retirement thing. And I really had no idea. And so I was pretty deep into what I was doing with Maverick, and I was talking to Dush and Tara, who are Maverick members, and they had been sponsors at Underground back when Dush was part of ClickBank.
That's right.
And then obviously attended a lot of Undergrounds. And I'm like, this would make maybe a lot of sense to bring it back. And they had quite a few ideas for how to do it and bring it back in a new way. So I want to welcome my co-hosts here, Dushyantara Ramachandran.
Thanks, Janet. Take care.
Actually, I do have one quick thing before you get started. So when Dush was sponsoring at ClickBank, I'm literally backstage. I'm like, okay, tell me your name. Give me your last name one more time. I'm like, all right, I got this because I have a weird name. And I came on stage and I'm like, well, please welcome. And I just we should find the tape because it was horrible. So hopefully that was better.
You've done it a lot better this time.
Thank you. Cheers.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you. We're so glad you're here. How many of you have been to Underground in the past? Show of hands. Okay. So not a lot of you, but that's great. Well, what's interesting is I think you will find some significant differences in what you're seeing in Underground now. One of the things that was most endearing about Underground was the speakers that Yannick brought to the stage. These were typically Underground marketers that were quietly making huge fortunes on the internet, online. And he used to bring them up, and these are not people that you would see on any other stages, and he would bring them up and have them share their strategies and their secrets. And that was a beloved part of Underground, always. And it would have been absolutely criminal for us to have not brought that forward. So that is absolutely continuing, and you will see over the next couple of days some amazing Underground entrepreneurs on stage, people that you wouldn't normally see on other stages, sharing some of their secrets and some of their strategies. So that's going to be great. But apart from that, there are a couple of other things. At the time when Yannick started Underground, back in 2003, most internet conferences were pitch fests. People, you would pay a small amount, come to the conference, and then you would have speaker after speaker who would come up and sell whatever it is they were selling. So which, after a little while gets very tiring. It's the same kind of pitch. So what we decided, over time, that model nobody uses anymore. And one of the things that Yannick did way back then was to make it a completely pitch-free event, which people loved. And of course, that we're continuing. But what's happened is nobody uses those pitch fests anymore. People have figured out, people in our industry have figured out how to actually make money, and they've moved on from there. But what's interesting is a lot of people, as we talk to them, haven't quite figured out how to take a revenue stream and make that into a sustainable business. So you'll be getting a lot of speakers that we'll be bringing through that talk about building a business, something that can run without you, something that you can sell or as an exit, or run as a lifestyle business, but essentially something that is a sustainable business and not just a revenue stream. The other thing that you will see is one of the things that we found and heard from people was that they've built good businesses, but they haven't built a great life. They've made the money, but suddenly life feels empty. And it feels like, I've got the car, got the house, I take the trips, but somehow there's something lacking. So the third aspect that we thought would be very, very important to bring to the stage is how to build a connected, authentic, full life. And you will see speakers that will be talking to that. The other thing you will see is we heard a lot of feedback from people who said, we really don't want to be in this massive cavernous conference room, one of 5,000 people. So we wanted to create more opportunities for people to interact. So hence the round tables, as you can see. So you'll be able to interact with people that are sitting at your table, and through the event, we'll move you around so that you get to meet with other people other than the people that you've met today. The other interesting thing about Underground is that it's always been a very high-end event. Business owners are the people that usually come to Underground. So most often, you will find that the greatest insights you get will be from people that are attendees, like yourself, not just the speakers. Of course, the speakers are excellent, but they're not the only ones you'll get the insights from. So through the event, you'll find plenty of opportunities for networking. You'll find plenty of opportunities to meet your fellow attendees. And who knows, you might find that business partner, that team member, that amazing relationship, business relationship that you were looking for right here. So that's what we wanted to create for you. And through this event, you'll see that. So just a few housekeeping notes very quickly. Through the event, there's information that's being posted on the app. So if you go to undergroundonlineseminar.com/app, you should be able to download the app, and that'll have all of the information about the speakers, the sponsors, all of the events that are happening, etc. And then if you want to tweet, if you want to use social media of any kind, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, use the hashtag #UndergroundOnlineSeminar. Just hashtag Underground actually goes to a band. I'm sure they're great, but that isn't us. So Underground Online Seminar would be good. And just a few housekeeping notes. We have a bunch of scholarship winners. Could the scholarship winners please stand up?
Woo!
Woo! So quick word about our scholarship winners. These are all young entrepreneurs. The youngest one is, I believe, 16. Thank you for being here. And they've all built businesses, and they're on the entrepreneurial journey. And so we're so proud and delighted to have them with us. So if you get an opportunity to meet them, please share your wisdom, share what you've known and what you've learned through your years in business to these young folks. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And thank you. And finally, if you need any help at all while you're at this event, we've got our team over in the back. That's the team in the red T-shirts with the word crew on their back. Just reach out to them, or you can email at oddjob@undergroundonlineseminar.com. So any of our team would be happy to help you. Red T-shirts with the word crew on back, and we'd be delighted to help you. So with that, I want to introduce you to the person who is the architect of the vision behind the new Underground. And without much ado, my beautiful and talented wife, Tara.
Thank you. I'm a little old school. I usually make Dush do all the talking, but I've got some things to say today. First of all, welcome to Underground. And congratulations, because if you're here, it means you work in the greatest industry on earth, online marketing. Never before has there been an industry that offers so much power, so much wealth, and so much influence and freedom with so little investment, overhead, and red tape. It is the greatest industry on earth. We can work from anywhere. People in our industry work from the comfort of their homes. They work from a place they're renting for a few months in Costa Rica or Spain, like our sponsor, Harris Bellman from Traffic Magic. Or they work from a balcony at a 5-star resort overlooking palm trees and the ocean and the pool. No commute, no stiff business attire, and no bad office coffee. Heck, people like Mike Hill, most of it, anyone know Mike Hill in this industry? Yeah, from I Am Super Friends. He even works from Eureka, Montana. Eureka, Montana. Now, most of you probably think Montana is like the middle of nowhere, and it basically is. but I'm from Missoula, Montana. I can tell you that Eureka is like literally the middle of nowhere. And working from anywhere, with a single laptop, we can capture the attention of millions of people and generate thousands, hundreds of thousands, and even millions of dollars in sales. Our market isn't limited to our local area. Unlike my dad, who was a part owner in a furniture store, we don't live and die by the economy of our hometown. If people weren't buying furniture in Missoula, Montana, then my dad's store was in rough shape. Retail's no picnic to begin with, but if you want to know what hard work is, then open a brick and mortar store in a small town during an economic downturn. In our industry, our market isn't even limited to our entire country. Our market is the entire English-speaking world, and even the non-English-speaking world if our products and services are translated into those languages. The opportunity to generate massive revenues, sell millions of copies of our digital products, and sell our services or physical products to people in other states or even other countries is an opportunity that previous generations couldn't fathom even in their wildest dreams. And it's not just about the revenues, is it? It's about the profits. It's about what goes in our pocket. Even if every single person in Missoula, Montana were buying furniture, my dad's store still had tremendous overhead. They had a huge store and they had a big parking lot that had to be maintained. They had heat, light, and power. And they had massive inventory, really expensive inventory that they had to carry. And they had a phone system, a computer network, they had delivery trucks, and then all the tax and HR expenses that come from running that kind of a store with 20 or so people. In our industry, our overhead is a laptop. Maybe a few laptops if we have a small team. We have a few subscription fees we pay to platforms like Sideq or maybe Infusionsoft, to ClickFunnels or Lead Pages. And we have contractors, or if we choose to run our business in a more traditional way, we might have a few HR expenses, salaries, things like that. But as an industry, our investment in overhead is minuscule compared to traditional businesses. And when you compare the amount of leverage we have, that is our ability to generate massive profits with a relatively small investment, then I say again, this is the greatest industry on earth. We also have an incredibly low barrier to entry. You can literally write a book today, like please don't while I'm talking, because I'm not used to this anyway. But you could literally write a book today in Microsoft Word, turn it into a PDF, and open an account on software projects or maybe ClickBank, and be up and running with your business today. Now, selling that book, of course, at least on a large scale, that's a different story. That takes time and effort and a lot of learning. But just understand how quickly we can be up and going. There's no going out to your city and finding a building to rent or buy. You don't have to go to your city and get a business license. You can literally just open your laptop and start your business. That's amazing. And finally, our Excalibur. If you know the story of King Arthur, you know that Excalibur was the sword that he pulled from the stone that gave him sovereignty over Great Britain. That was enormous power. In our world, our Excalibur is YouTube. It's our giant email lists that are made up of hundreds, thousands, and even millions of people. It's our media buys and our Google rankings, and it's our affiliates, and it's our Facebook ads. It's our webinars and our ugly video sales letters that bring in thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of eyeballs. And it's our knowledge of copywriting, conversions, and buyer behavior that allow us to tap into those deep-seated emotions of our target market and turn a visitor into a paying customer. That's incredible power that wields enormous influence. Never before have business owners had access to such massive amplifiers, the likes of YouTube, Google, Facebook, for such a cheap price. My dad spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not into the millions, over the 40-plus years that he worked at his store on newspaper ads and TV ads that only reached the people in Missoula, Montana. Today, with some savvy marketing skills, we can reach millions of people for a fraction of the price with the tools that we have at our disposal. What enormous power and influence we have at our fingertips. And with that power and influence, we're able to spread our messages far and wide. We're able to accumulate great wealth for ourselves and for our loved ones. And that's a great thing. In fact, it's absolutely freaking amazing because money is awesome. Like, let's, some people say, like, no, money doesn't matter. No. One of my mentors, Earl Nightingale. Is anyone else a big Earl Nightingale fan in here? Yeah. Like Earl Nightingale says, let's forget about this idea that money doesn't matter, because it does. Because nothing takes the place of money where money is required. In fact, I once heard an interview with Oprah where somebody asked her, do you feel guilty for being so wealthy? And her answer was something like, no, how would my being poor help anyone? Right? Our industry is the new land of opportunity. And the power, influence, and wealth available to us with a little hard work and perseverance is on a scale that our world has never seen before. But here's what I'm afraid we've forgotten in this industry. With great power comes great responsibility. It was a lesson that even Spider-Man had to learn. Those were the words of his wise Uncle Ben, right? With great power comes great responsibility. And I believe that as entrepreneurs, we are superheroes, or at least we have the power to be. But in this industry, too many of us have taken the wealth, and we've taken the freedom, and we've taken the power that the online marketing industry affords, and we've absolved ourselves from the accompanying responsibility. The responsibility for the messages that we send. The responsibility for living up to the promises that we make on our sales page. The responsibility for inciting hate, fear, self-loathing, and insecurity in our audience. The responsibility for teaching people how to manipulate others for personal gain, whether that's in the dating niche, the make money online niche, or any other niche. And the responsibility that we have to each other, whether that's paying our affiliates, whether that's living up to the agreements that we sign with our partners, whether that's paying our service providers, or whether that's delivering a service that we've been paid to provide. This is the greatest industry on earth. But there are too many people who are trying to turn this industry into the 21st century version of the snake oil salesman. Those were those traveling scam artists that they posed as doctors and went around spinning these wild stories to sell these miracle cures in a bottle back in the Old West, right? And by the time their customers figured out they'd been duped, the snake oil salesman had already skipped town. Does that sound familiar to anyone? One of our greatest assets as an industry and one of our greatest Achilles heels is that our industry is the wild, wild west. And the wild, wild west is actually a great place to be in many ways. I mean, if you want some land, you just go find some land, put a stake in it, and you got some land. That's fantastic. We're fast and we're agile. But the wild, wild west falls apart when people don't rule themselves with the universal code of ethics and morals. There's no law in the wild, wild west, at least not one that can be relied upon to act quickly. Victims of the snake oil salesman didn't call the police and have them rush over. They didn't email their attorney general. They didn't hire a lawyer to sue the snake oil salesman, and they wouldn't have been able to find him anyway. Similarly, in our industry, very little happens when we don't live up to the promises on our sales page, right? When we don't pay our affiliates, when we don't deliver that service that we were paid to provide. I mean, sure, there's like the onesie-twosie cases, right? We've all heard of somebody getting shut down by the FTC, and you might hear of an affiliate getting really ticked off and finally, suing a vendor for unpaid commissions. And you might hear of like a legal letter going out to some deadbeat service provider. But really, that's extremely rare. And we all know it. For the number of times that happens in our industry, it's extremely rare. Most of the time, people, our customers, our partners, and our fellow digital entrepreneurs, they just walk away. Disappointed, used, and left high and dry, but not wanting to spend the time, money, or energy to get into a dogfight. And that's wrong, It's wrong to treat our customers like that, and it's wrong to treat each other like that. This is the greatest industry on earth, but to keep it that way and maybe even raise it to the realm of prodigious, we've got to step up our responsibility. Now, if you're in this room, I believe I'm preaching to the choir. Underground has never attracted the fly-by-night internet marketer or the shady business people. It's never attracted the masses or the people just in the business to make money. Underground has always been about people with integrity. It's been about authenticity. And it's been about genuine connection. And it's been about digital entrepreneurs who are out there doing the very best they can to do good things and build a good business, to do good things for everyone it serves, the customers, the service providers, the affiliates, the employees, contractors, and the owners themselves and the people that they love. But we're a small group, and even we're not perfect people, right? If you're like me, you can look back at times where maybe you didn't live up to your own standard of integrity. Maybe it was selling something you didn't believe in, but that made you money. Maybe it was deciding not to pay a bill or an affiliate when money got tight and your launch didn't go as planned. Or maybe it was blowing off an agreement you signed or blowing off appointments or meetings that you set up. Anyone tried to set up a call in this industry? How many times does it actually happen? Yeah, makes me want to blow my brains out. Or maybe it was trying to sell something through a twisted version of the truth. Or presenting yourself, a paid actor or something like that as something different than you actually are. We can all find times when we haven't lived up to the men, women, and entrepreneurs we want to be. And that's okay. We're not made to be perfect. But here's what's important. We keep integrity part of our conversation. We keep it at the forefront of our minds. We talk to each other about integrity. And we share stories of when we failed and when we triumphed. Those times when we did the right thing, even when it cost us time, money, and conversions. We need to be the shoulders that each other gets to ride on during those victories. We need to cheer each other on when we do the right thing, even when it doesn't convert as well. And when we listen to each other's lapses in integrity, or when we're on the receiving end of one of those lapses, we need to approach the situation with humanity and kindness because we know we've been there too, right? But also with an expectation of accountability. Because it's only by holding each other accountable as peers, as customers, as affiliates, partners, service providers, and as fellow digital entrepreneurs that we can raise up an entire industry. Our world has enough people pitching their wares without integrity. You don't have to look very far, just look at our politicians. Look at businesses like Volkswagen, right? Look at shysters like Bernie Madoff. The world needs an industry it can believe in. And what better industry to rise to the occasion than the most abundant industry on earth, digital marketing. So I ask you, let's start today. Let's start right now. Let's start at Underground. And maybe, just maybe someday, the rest of the business world will look to us. And they'll look to our industry and they'll say, those guys got it right. That's how you do it. That's how you do good business, and that's how you make it a win for everyone. Welcome to Underground. Let's get this party started!